Well, there you go. Basically what any town needs: your local co-op, across the road, you've got your Indian restaurant, and then next to that your Chinese restaurant. And that's pretty much all your little village requires. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lewis. Today I'm in the village of Bramford here in Mid-Suffolk. I'm going to be exploring the local history of the area. As always, if you do enjoy this content, then please do like this video for the YouTube algorithm. It does help my channel out a lot. Okay, let us begin the exploration. So here I am in the churchyard of Bramford Church. Bramford Church being the main landmark here in Bramford, called St. Mary the Virgin Church, an old medieval church that was built in, well, what you can see now, the exterior facade is 15th century, but there are parts of the church that are as old as 1300. The rood screen inside in particular is as old as 1300. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get inside. These churches are often locked, but we will investigate. Okay, here we are outside the front of the church. This is the moment of truth. Aha! Ah, we are in luck. All right, here we are. We've managed to get inside. So over here we have an old font with a huge wooden cover on the top. Bell for calling people to prayer. Over here, some memorials to the wars, the Great War, World War II. Font, green frontals. Ordinary time. This is this divide here that divides what would have been the choir stalls from the rest of the congregation. It's called the rood screen, and that's the part I told you is 1300, or built thereabouts. And at the front here we have the main altar, the high altar. A final impressive and noteworthy thing about the church is, you're going to struggle to make this out, I'm afraid, but there are various figures up here on the top of the church, presumably carved by some master mason in the 15th century. Some of these figures that are kind of monsters and ghouls have theological significance. Some of them have kind of local mythological significance, and some of them are just satirical. Most notably, this figure right here at the front, which again, as I said, you're not going to be able to make out. 500 years of rain and weather have made it difficult to kind of recognize what it is. But it is a monkey wearing a monk's habit. And it is a chained monkey, and it's holding up some kind of vial. And this is basically a kind of satirical stab against monasteries in the 15th century. I'm not quite sure what the joke is, that monks are like monkeys chained to their monasteries, or I don't know, monks are as pointless as monkeys, something like that. So here we are, back outside, and I have done a little bit of reading about one of the gravestones just over here. So if we just walk around the side of the church, I can point it out and explain to you the life of this individual. Okay, so it's a white cross. I have already hunted it out, so I know where it is. It's this one right here. This is to Thomas Ebner Elmer, it says, who died March 24th, 1916, aged 32. So Thomas Ebner Elmer, he was Ebner to his friends because he shared the same name as his father, Thomas Ebner Elmer, was a local lad from here in Bramford, and I actually have here on a piece of paper the column that was written about him. And so this was in the Suffolk Chronicle and Mercury. It was published on the 31st of March 1916, and it reads, on March 24th, Thomas Ebner Elmer of the Angel Inn Bramford, that is a local pub, which we will go and find in a moment. Bramford, on Wednesday week, in the presence of a large number of relatives and friends, the remains of Thomas Ebner Elmer were interred in Bramford churchyard. The coffin was covered with floral tokens of sympathy from the deceased's father and mother. The deceased died in Bury Military Hospital after being attested for the army, only being absent from home for 5 days. His age was 33. That is a newspaper error, as I've already pointed out. He was 32 years old. The funeral service was conducted by the curate in the unavoidable absence of the vicar. So, what happened to Ebner Elmer that in 1916 resulted in his death after only being away from here for 5 days? Well, he was a barman. He helped out his parents, who owned the aforementioned Angel Inn, which is just up the road, and he drank a lot, we can presume. He was a barman, but he also helped himself to the stock in question. And in 1916, during the Great War, that is when the conscription happened, and local people from here in Bramford were called up to serve during the Great War, serve king and country. Ebner was called up, and as a result he had to go to a training barracks to prepare him to deploy in Germany, and that resulted in him going from drinking a lot of alcohol to drinking no alcohol at all. And this sudden withdrawal of alcohol put his system into shock. He went into delirium, and within 5 days he was dead. And then it was only 5 days after that that his family gathered here in the churchyard with the curate, and the funeral was conducted. Ebner is therefore remembered as being the first casualty here in Bramford of the Great War. So that is the church and churchyard of Bramford. I'm now heading north, away from the church, to this small street which leads onto the church, which is lined with small, well, not that small really, quite large 17th century cottages, which are quintessential Mid-Suffolk cottages. And this one here, as you can see, is painted pink, Suffolk pink, which is a traditional colour for houses here in Suffolk, made with paint emulsion and lamb's blood. Originally, that is. I doubt it's made with lamb's blood anymore. And here, just on the edge of Bramford, is the River Gipping. The River Gipping was a navigable waterway in the 19th century, meaning that boats were pulled up and down this river by livestock in order that goods could be moved to and fro, such as Suffolk wool. Those days, however, are long gone, and the various locks that are dispersed up and down the river now lie dormant and unusable. And then, if we head up this way, we're getting onto the main road here, but this is the main road that leads up through Bramford, and we'll head up here and I'll show you some more points of interest. Okay, so I'm now walking up Fitzgerald Road and past the Bramford Cock, which I believe is the last operating pub here in Bramford. If I discover another one, I'll let you know. So I'm sure that would be a good place to go and get Sunday roast and a pint of beer. As you can see, old, I don't know, 17th century building, I suppose. And then up towards the centre of the village, just up here. Well, there you go. Basically what any town needs: your local co-op, across the road, you've got your Indian restaurant, and then next to that your Chinese restaurant. And that's pretty much all your little village requires. Right, and so this is it. It has, as you can see, been converted into houses. You wouldn't even know to look at it anymore. But this was the Angel Inn, and this is where Elmer would have drunk his many pints of beer. And then finally here, at the very upper end of Bramford, we have the only other church in Bramford, the local Methodist Church. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. That was a quick exploration of Bramford. If you've enjoyed this content, please do me a favor, like this video, and also please do consider subscribing so that you are notified of upcoming videos. If you're interested in watching my previous video, in which I walked from here in Bramford to the historic dockyard in Ipswich, you can click here, where I am reviewing out of sheer rage whilst doing that walk. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one.